Good morning. This is Lisa, and I'm with Pampered Chef, and I want to welcome you to my keto kitchen. Today I have quite a few things to prepare. I'm so excited that we're in revival, so that has caused me to really have to prepare and plan ahead. I'm so excited about what I do is if I have a lot of extra things in the refrigerator that I'm afraid is going to go bad, I look online and try to find some kind of video that will help me use up some of this so that I don't have a bunch of leftovers. And what I did is I looked for this zero carb casserole. And what I'm doing is I'm going to make half of it. Instead of the whole recipe, I'm going to make half of it because I have this wonderful rectangular baker pan. And I absolutely love it. So if you're making dinner and you need to make a side pan just for you, this is it. This is wonderful. And it's their stone, their Pampered Chef stone. Look how nice and heavy it's made. So what I'm going to do is when this becomes, I'm going to let this sit for a little bit so it becomes room temperature a little bit before I grease it, okay? But what I'm going to do is the recipe actually calls for 2 to 3 pounds of meat. I'm going to use I have 2 pounds of meat, so I'm going to use like 1 pound, okay? And then it calls for 2 pounds of cheddar cheese, which I'm just going to use what I've got in the fridge already cut up and then extra. And 12 eggs. I'm only going to use 6 eggs because I'm only making half of it. But I'm also going to doctor it up. And I'm going to add some vegetables because you know me, I'm cheap and I like to get my veggies in. And so that's what I try to do. So that's what I'm going to do. I want you to, and then I'll put the recipe below. But don't forget to like and share and subscribe to my video. All of my videos, I have a bunch of them. If you see this one, then just drop down and see another one. We would love for you to see them all. So what I'm going to start out with first is this is our large flexible cutting mats. And it comes in a set of 3. So I'm going to get out my trusty scissors and that I've used for years. I just love them. And I'm going to cut the top off so that I can open them. This is a lot of this that I'm showing you is what I got free in my kit when I first started. And I sold enough in 1 month to pay for my kit, to pay way beyond. I had over $650 worth of free products in my kit for $150. They have 3 different kits. They have one that's $109, and I think you get close to $200 or $300 worth of product. And then they have a middle one, which is $150, and you get $600. And then they have a higher one where you get over $1,000 for 2 something. So if you want the smaller one, you can get the smaller one. But most of the time when you join a company, that's just to join. You don't get anything with it. But not with this. And these are silicone. And I'm finding that if you'll watch your knives and look at what knife you're supposed to use for what, that it cuts a lot better. Used to be I just grabbed a sharp knife, that a Pampered Chef sharp knife that I have, and I just go with it. But these have good, this is like also a little ruler for you, but it also tells you what each knife is for. And then this one is just like, it tells you if you want a Julie in it, what to look for, this is like a ruler too. And then this one is really, tells you what a teaspoon would be like a thumb's tip, and a tablespoon is like your whole thumb. I mean, it's valid, good information for cooking. But I'm just going to put these other 2 away and just use the one to cut with. Excuse me, not to cut with, to cut on. But see how nice it looks on your counter, and then you don't have to worry about using your counter either. So I'm going to put these away. Get my recipe back over here, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. These are our 3 glass bowl sets, and if you notice on some of the programs, I really think they're using Pampered Chef mixing bowls. If you look on some of the Food Network channels, what they're using I think they're using the good Pampered Chef bowls. But anyways, this comes in a set of 3. The larger, there's a big one, then the medium one, and this is the small one. Okay, so I'm going to mix my 6 eggs because I like to mix my eggs separately to make sure they get mixed, because I have this weird thing that I'm going to eat like eggs that aren't cooked. So what I'm going to do, you're going to watch me chop 6 eggs, or put 6 eggs in here, not chop. Put 6 eggs So 1, just throw it right in there. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay? Now, I don't have the Pampered Chef whisk, but I'm going to use a whisker. I like to use a whisker. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to season these eggs so that they're not just so bland. This called for no seasoning or nothing. It called for just ground beef, cheddar cheese, and 12 eggs. I like to season my stuff, so I'm going to put these in the trash. Put these in the trash. And wipe my hands off. Okay? Alright, so that I've done. I'm going to get my measuring spoons out. And I'm going to use the all-in-one measuring spoon. This one is teaspoons. I love them. All you have to do is one. Just if you need 1/8 of a teaspoon, you go down to this. This is awesome. I love it. There are so many things on my wish list that as I go, I'm just adding them to them. But this is something I'm going to put like a 1/2 teaspoon, or yeah, just a 1/2 teaspoon of. So that's a 1/2 teaspoon. No, sorry. And garlic is good for cholesterol. And I used to have problems before I started the keto with my cholesterol. So I'm going to I put garlic in a lot of things. So there you go. Just all you have to do, and put it in my eggs, okay? Same with, I like to salt things. Not a lot, but I do like salt. So I'm going to use this, and once again, just put it in. You're going to get some salt with the other stuff, but I'm also using some other stuff that isn't included. Now, I've never made this before, so we're going to do it together. The pepper, I'm just going to eyeball the pepper, okay? But you can add, this recipe seems like it's so easy that you could add all kinds of stuff to it, all kinds of spices. You probably could put oregano in it. You probably could make it Italian tasting. I mean, there's just a lot that you could do with this. But I was looking for quick things because of the week that I'm going to be having with going to Revival every single night. Now, when I thaw meat, I put it in a bag because I don't want it all over my refrigerator. So I'm going to open the bag. You know, when it starts to thaw, it starts bleeding over everything. So what I'm doing is I'm going to use a pound of deer meat, okay, and a pound. We get our a 1/4 of a cow every year so that we can buy it from this man that uses only natural. He feeds them all organic. And so we get a 1/4 of a cow, and then my son-in-law kills 2 deer for me every year. And so I get that into ground too. So what I do is I don't like to touch meat a lot. So I'm going to cut the tops off. And I mix it together. And then that way it kind of cooks together and gives it, you know, more of a flavor. So anyways, this is our regular. Now what I do is I cut these off, and then I put it back in the bag that I had it in, and I throw it all the way in the trash. Okay. And the mix and chop, this is awesome. And excuse me, let me just take a little sneeze. It's been raining here for a couple days, and so therefore the sinuses start. But this is also good to brown meat, but we're not browning meat today. We're actually cutting it up. So this is great for that too. Now what I'm going to do is I'm taking a pound of deer and a pound of regular, and I'm going to chop it all up together, and then I'm going to split it in half. Okay, because I'm not going to use the whole thing for, it only calls for 2 pounds, 2 to 3 pounds. So I'm going to chop it all up, as you can see, and I probably should have used the bigger bowl to do it. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put half in a bowl and half in another, half in the bottom of this, or in with the eggs rather. So I'll split it up, but I want to first try to combine it, because I like to combine the meat. I just don't like to touch meat that much, but I will if I have to. But I combine it up. So you got to combine the deer meat with the regular. And people say, I don't eat deer meat, but once I make something, they don't even know they're eating it. So I just use it because it's such a lean meat. It's so good for you. It's so good they can't sell it in the stores, or they won't. I don't know which. But to me, it is the best. And but you got to know how to make it, But you got to know what processor to go. We have a wonderful processor here in Middle Tennessee. So what I'm gonna, I live in West Tennessee, not Middle Tennessee. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to take the butter, and what I do is I keep a butter that I'm gonna use and then I just cut the tip off every time. Just a little bit of the tip off so that I always start with a clean edge. But I'm gonna really grease this pan really good. Okay. And I need to put my oven on, so I'm going to do that. But see how I do it as thick as possible. Just real thick. And I need to put the oven on 325. Okay. So we've got that greased. Now let me mix this up some more. Grease this, mix this so it's all mixed up really good. And I'm just going to eyeball half of it. I'm just going to do what I think is. But this mix and chop is the bomb. It is awesome. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get me another bowl. And I'm going to put, this is our awesome triple. It's 3 bowls, a large bowl, a medium, and a small one. And it's got the Pampered Chef right on the bottom. I've had them for years, and they last forever and ever. But I'm going to put half the mixture of the meat in here. Okay, so I'm going to mix it up with my hands real quick so that I can make sure that everything is mixed up, even though you know how much I hate. Sometimes what I do is I put like a Ziploc bag in. And I use a Ziploc bag so I don't have to touch the meat. But today, I'm just doing this. So I'm going to take out, just kind of eyeball it, and look at it, and see if you've just put half of it in there. Okay, so that was about half. I put half the bowl in here. As you can see, this is about half. Okay, so this will be used for something else. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the eggs with all of the mixture in it. Okay, so you just throw that in. Okay, that's all in there. Now I'm going to have to use something bigger than this, so I'm going to use my mix and chop. Okay, and what the recipe calls for is it calls for you to mix it up really good and then just put it in there. But I've got some veggies that I had left over, and I can get my veggies in. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in here before I put the cheese on. So what you do is you mix this up really good, and it should look kind of milky like that. It's kind of liquidy like this. But you mix the eggs in with it. Okay. Oops. Okay, see? Just kind of mix it up around and make sure you're chopping up the meat as you go, because you want to chop up the meat as you go. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in here. Okay? Now it doesn't look like I'm going to have a lot of room for a lot of vegetables, but that's what I have to see. And you just kind of smooth it around. Okay? And this is extra coleslaw mix that I did not use the other day, so I'm going to use the rest of it. Okay? Because I just don't like anything to go to waste. And what I do is I get it all out, and then if it's too much, I can always put it back. But I want enough, so what I'm doing is I'm adding my vegetables to this. So it's not, it may not be 0, let's see. This is actually 5 carbs, if you look at it. But then you subtract the fiber out, which will gives you 3 for a 1/5 of a cup, which I probably won't have that much in my meal. Probably won't have that much of just that in my meal. Now, if you're eating coleslaw, then you might, but still, I'd rather use my carbs on the vegetables. I'd rather do that. Now, since it's overflowing like this, like so, and I know it'll seep down some, I'm going to get a little, like, baking sheet to put it over it. I had some, I told you we're by the Marathon cheese factory. It's in Boonville, Mississippi, which is about 30 minutes away. So I try to go there, and I usually don't buy meat. I usually don't buy the cheese that's chopped up like this, but these were 80 cents a bag. So, it was so much cheaper. So I'm going to put this on top. This is what it calls for. It didn't call for the veggies, so I'm putting this on top. And you can put as much cheese as you want on, because cheese, this is for 1 ounce of this, which is a 1/4 of a cup, is like 1 carb. So this is the pepper jack. So I'm making, it called for cheddar cheese, but I use what I have in the fridge to use up what I need to get rid of. And this looks so good. Even on the YouTube, it looked so good. So I thought, well, that'll be good for me to get rid of some of my stuff that I need to get rid of. So I'm going to put my pan on top of it, because I don't want it to drip all over the bottom of my oven. I'm real picky. But see how easy it is to get rid of some of the stuff that you have sitting around, and you don't have to throw it away, because it does cost. Even if I wasn't keto, I would be doing this. I don't let stuff go bad in the fridge. I start finding things to use it for. So it's so easy and so flavorful. And what you can do is you can download Carb Manager, and it will tell you, you can put the ingredients in it. And I will put the recipe down below. The one that I used, I will put down below. And then you can follow it and write it down. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a subscription. Don't forget to share. But anyways, I always try to put new recipes up. But this way, you're using up what you've already got before it goes bad. And then if something happens and I don't eat it this week, I can always freeze it too. So I may make another one and freeze that one, and then use this one, to eat. So thank you for joining my kitchen, my keto kitchen. Make sure you like everything and share, and have a great day.